Hey, what's happening everyone? FM Journeyman here, and welcome to Weston-Not Super Mare's 2016 to 2017 season review. So, I've done this video for you guys who don't want to watch every single episode of the season. If you do, that's awesome. If you follow us, fantastic. If not, here's a brief summary on how we did and what the future plans are. So, obviously, this is a brief recap here that's popped up on my newsfeed. As you can see, let's read the quotes first and foremost. All of Weston Super Mare's dreams came true this season as it defied expectations, suggesting that it would be relegation certainties and instead mounted an almost unbelievable title-winning campaign. So there you have it. That really sums up nicely how well this season has gone. As you can see, we finished first in the Vanarama National League South, our lowest position of the season only being 8th, and obviously we were top for a long period, almost a third of the season we were top of the table, so we definitely deserved it. Excellent campaign. And the Cups, we lost in the second round to Bourne Wood, which wasn't a surprise. They're a team above us in the league above us, and we lost in the FA Cup against Gillingham, but that little cup run actually gave us a lot of money, so that was very helpful. Match of the season was a 3-1 win over Bath, apparently. Lee Richards getting 2 goals, Connor Dids getting the other, with only the own goal being from Joe Steele. We played him off the park that day. That was a very good performance. And where am I at? Here we go. And the moment to forget apparently was a 4-1 defeat against Ebbsfleet. I remember that game distinctly well, just because we played well and we didn't deserve to lose, but it was just one of those things, unfortunately, that happens in Football Manager. So the average attendance was 498, only 14% of our capacity, which isn't a lot. That actually contributed to a lot of our financial issues this season, and we actually used 32 players this season, which was a joint highest in the Vanarama South. So take a look at the Vanarama South. Let's take a look. You still would have decided who goes up between Wealdstone and Bath. I think Wealdstone will do that, not a problem. But this is how the league table finished. As you can see, we finished top of the table by 3 points. 4 less in goal difference to Wealdstone, so we're lucky it didn't come down to goal difference. We actually lost the last 3 games of the season, which was a little bit disappointing way to cap it off, but there you have it. Speaking of games played, let's take a look. As you can see, we started off really hot on form, 4 wins and 4 draws, undefeated in our first 8 games, and ever since then it was pretty much solid. We either win or we lose, and even the losses were very narrow losses, as you can say, and at the end of the season, unfortunately, we lost the last 3 games without scoring a single goal. Disappointing win in the season, but nevertheless, we are champions of the league, so I'm very happy about that. Let's take a look at the squad and the squad performances. When it comes to average ratings, the player of the year was, in fact, Elliot Richards, of course. 7.21 average, scoring 30 goals with 9 assists. Fantastic display from this young man. He is wanted, of course. There's a lot of clubs that are going to be interested in his services. Aldershot, Barnet, Exeter, Wrexham, York, and the New Saints, just to name a few. And unfortunately, he's on a non-contract deal, which I actually tried to sign him to a contract, but he wants something ridiculous like £1,500. I can't afford to give him that, unfortunately. So unfortunately, we may lose him unless we convince him to stay. Next up was Joe Steele. Joe Steele had a fantastic season overall. 19 years old, centre half, used to play for MK Dons, had a great season. He actually got a 7 Man of the Match awards with an average rating of 7.18, and he actually played mostly in a position that he wasn't familiar with, well, a role, I should say, as a ball-playing defender. He did a really excellent job back there, and he formed a very solid partnership with Jamie Horncastle. The other ones, Clayton Fortune, only played a handful of games, but then Perry Ryan, he was also superb. That was a great free transfer signing for us. As you can see, he did very well. 32 appearances overall, starting, 4 off the bench, 7 goals, 3 assists, 3 Man of the Match awards, and average rating of 7.13. He was a very integral part of our midfield, had some excellent displays. And towards the end of the season, we had a bit of a surprise candidate. That was Richard Bryan. He had an excellent season, and as you can see, he's got a lot of potential, a lot of 9s in there, a lot of 8s, 7s. He could definitely grow into a very capable player for us. As you see, 21 years old, a lot of talent. Very happy to have him on board. Other notable mentions: James Fitzgerald was the pitcher of consistency throughout the entirety of the season. He played pretty much game in, game out for us, always available, rarely got injured. Superb player, 19 years old, very solid. He'll be very important for us next season. Jamie Horncastle also played very well. He earned himself a new contract, so it'd be interesting to see how he keeps developing. Theo Brearley also had a really good season. My assistant manager only thinks it's a 2-star current ability, but he proved better than that, to be honest with you. He was very solid, did very well breaking up the defense, and he often played as a deep line playmaker, which is not necessarily a natural role for him, but he did a very good job at it nevertheless. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up some little bit portions of the season. Top goal scorers, obviously, Elliot Richards with 30 goals. Next up, 20 behind him was Connor Deard. He kind of like fell apart just a little bit for the season, got myself injured, and he never really returned to form since then. But a very useful player, I'm sure, in the next division up. Then we had Jake Watkins, who joined us about midway through the season, scored 7 goals and actually chipped in with a few assists as well. 7 assists, that's a good return for him. Poacher, only 20 years old. So hopefully he's going to grow a little bit in the summer, because he'll have to be a bit better than that in the Vanarama National League. Then our follow-up, obviously Perry Ryan with 6, Fitzgerald with 3, Sam Smith contributed 3 goals at the end of the season, Theo Brearley 2, and then yeah, that's pretty much it. As far as assist goes, Elliot Richards kind of led the way with Richard Bryan, who, again, superb from the right back spot, 7 assists, Jay Watkins 7 assists, Sakani Simpson 4 assists. Unfortunately, he will not be staying with us. Yes, I'm going to let his contract run out. But a very solid player, but unfortunately we have to move on for a younger player just because he's kind of reached his peak and he's not going to do the job for me in the Vanarama National League. Barker, same really kind of goes to him, 4 assists to his name, Perry Ryan with 3, Sakuna with 2, Theo Brearley with 2. Alright, so yeah, that pretty much wraps up all the kind of valid information you might want to find about the squad. Let's go take a look at some of the other information. Let's take a look at finances real quick. So right now we stand an overall balance of negative 15,157. As you can see, it's peak in the middle of the season, which due to our FA Cup run, we got £67,000 in TV rights for that game. And apart from that, we haven't really been able to stay afloat. As you can see, our wage budget and transfer budget is pretty much under control. I'm only spending a portion of that wage budget, 1.44 in the green, with a transfer budget of 995. That's partially due to the fact of our low crowds this season. Obviously, I'm very disappointed not to be able to keep the club in the black as much as I can. I haven't actually, signed a lot of players. I've basically controlled as much as I possibly could. Moving on from there, competition expectations, as you can imagine, the board are ecstatic with how we finished. Obviously, board confidence very high there, very high there, very high there, so a good performance all round. As far as next season goes, we're going to play in the Vanarama National League. Let's go check out some of the teams that we're going to be up against. Alright, so here we go. Stages, league table. Alright, no, that's not us. That's not what we want. There we go. Awesome. League table. Perfect. Alright, so we will not be playing Eastleigh. They got promoted. And between Forest Green and Woking for the remaining promotion spot. But there are some good teams in here. Some very recognisable teams. York, Tranmere, Torquay, and obviously Bournemouth we met during the season. They narrowly avoided relegation. So it's going to be a very tough next season. I just want to try and stay up if we possibly can. As far as sign-ins go, we're going to have to improve our squad as a whole. Obviously, if you lose Elliot Richards, that's a huge blow to us. As you can see, the next goal scorer was 20 goals behind that. If it wasn't for Elliot Richards, he would not have got promoted this season. So I'm going to have to look for maybe another striker or two, just in case we lose him. As far as other news goes, we actually had a little improvement to facilities. As soon as I can get to my notes, I'll show you it real quick. Let's do this. Sorry about this, guys. 1 second. Okay, so perfect. Oh, nope, it's not right. Anytime. There you go, perfect. All right, so here's a note I saved. So basically, the board announced that we were going to increase the size of the stadium by 1,000 seats. So that makes it to a 4,500 capacity stadium now. It's going to cost us about £679,000. They've scored a loan for half of it, and they've got grants for the other half of it. It'll take about 7 months to complete, so that'll be complete during the midway point of next season. Now, it's a bit of a surprise they decided to expand the club grounds, just because we weren't really selling out. We only had 14%. And I'd rather put the money towards facilities in-house, such as facilities on the training ground, such as youth and training facilities in general, because I want to develop my own youth players. Speaking of youth players, they only had one youth player really come through that might make a difference, and that's Matty Boateng. As you can see, he's pretty well rounded. He hasn't reacted very well to training so far, just probably because he's on holiday right now and he's going to decrease just a little bit. But he's a pretty solid looking defensive forward and target man. As you can see, he's got plenty of physical capabilities at the age of 19, so he's going to grow a bit more, and that should be looking pretty good. Technical wise, not great, but he can work on that, and mental, same goes for that as well. If you look actually at his goal scoring record in the under 18 so far this season, 8 goals in 7 appearances, so he's got goal scoring pedigree, so that's going to be interesting to see if he can break through to the first team next year. Alright, so I think that's going to wrap up this episode, and it's going to wrap up my little season review. If you have any questions about how the team did, just pop those in the comments below. I'll try and get the information back to you as soon as I can. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I look forward to next season. The next episode will be a little bit of a season preview, and some of the summer transfers I've made, and going into just before the friendlies begin. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next part. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.